What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and welcome to the first drive video of my new to me 2018 Audi S5 Prestige. If you guys missed the collection day video and the full tour video, I'll go ahead and link those in the top right corner. But this is going to be like I said, the first drive video. I've had this car for a couple weeks now, kind of developed some more thoughts and opinions on this car and how it drives, so wanted to share that with you guys. Short answer is I absolutely love it. Before I get started, I do want to mention that yes, the car is a little bit dirty, and also I have some modification videos coming soon. I've ordered some parts for this car, so I'm very excited to show you guys what I have planned. So if you guys missed it in the full tour video, we actually installed kind of the first mod, I guess you can say. It's the carbon fiber gear selector cover. It doesn't, exactly match up with the factory carbon inlays there, but I think it does look good to help kind of spruce up the interior. Anyways, with that being said, let's just go ahead and start the car up. Alright guys, welcome to the driving portion, or driving video of my 2018 Audi S5 Prestige. Apologies for the glare, I'm kind of driving into the sun here and there. But, I have been really loving this car. Like I said, I've had it a couple weeks. I've been able to kind of develop some impressions on the car, how it compares to my 340i. If you guys have missed the collection day video and the full tour video, I'll go ahead and link those, like I said, in the introduction. But yeah, I kind of explained how I ended up with this car. Essentially, I really wanted to get back into Audi. I had my S4 before this, and I just sort of blended a little bit better with that car. The 340i was great, but I just didn't really like driving the manual that much in traffic and commuting and stuff like that. And I wanted a lot of new technologies, which is what Audi offers. I was also looking at the C43 and the Jag F-Type, but those, the C53, C43 AMG is still a little bit too new, too expensive, and the F-Type is a little bit too old in terms of technology, even while they look, absolutely fantastic. But in terms of actual driving dynamics for this car, most of the time I drive it in comfort, and it's been an absolutely amazing daily driver. No complaints whatsoever in terms of, the usability and stuff like that. Even with, 2 doors, there's still plenty of luggage space. Seats fold down in the rear as well, to open up a pass-through, which is great. So for my intents and purposes, the 2-door was basically all I needed, and it's been absolutely great in that regard. I do drive in comfort. The ride quality has been great. It is actually pretty stiff, even in comfort. This does have the adaptive dampers, and when you put it in dynamic, it really stiffens up and gets almost too stiff. It corners very flat. It corners very flat in dynamic, with the stiff suspension, and it feels great, but for everyday driving and stuff like that, it's almost too firm in my opinion. The transmission obviously is the 8-speed ZF Auto, a stark contrast to the 6-speed manual in my 340i. And I've kind of done a comparison video on the 8-speed auto, 340i, and versus my 6-speed car, and I raved about how much I love the 8-speed, automatics in general, how usable they are, how quickly they shift gears, and I stand by that. I had the dual clutch in my S4, my B9 S4, and that was very clunky, especially in slow speed driving. And this automatic, as you can probably see here, is just goes through the gear so quickly, no jerkiness, no anything like that. I do have a transmission mount coming. That's sort of the next teaser for the modifications that are coming next for this car. So yeah, like I was saying, the brakes are absolutely amazing in this car. The engine obviously is the 3-liter single turbo V6, 354 horsepower, 370, 69-ish foot-pounds of torque, something like that. It feels very comparable to my 340i in terms of acceleration. And it's got a very interesting exhaust tone. I talked about that in the full tour video. It sounds a little muddy. It doesn't really have a distinctive tone, but it sounds good for being stock. And when you put it in dynamic mode, the valves in the exhaust open up, and it gives you a lot of nice like cracks and burbles like the 340i did. So if you guys can hear that, it does sound good. I do think it has some fake engine noise that it pumps into the cabin. Put the car back in comfort. Goes straight into 8th gear. It does sort of gear hunt a lot. It goes, it drops to 8th gear pretty quickly, almost at, 50 miles an hour here, and it's in 8th gear. In terms of fuel economy, it leads me on to my next point. I've been getting sort of 22, 23 miles per gallon in mixed driving, which, you know, is pretty good. It's not as good as my 340i. Obviously, this has the all-wheel drive system. It's also a bit heavier, but you know, it's good and it's comparable, which is, you know, what I'm fine with. In terms of in steering feel, you know, I'm no journalist or anything like that, but you know, it does feel pretty muted in my opinion. There's not much sort of liveliness going on with the steering, and basically this car as a whole, as I would describe it, it just feels, it's so good at everything. It doesn't really excel in any, you know, one thing. It's not the fastest in the world. It's not the you know, the most nimble or straight line speed, like I said. But you know, I'm not a race car driver. You know, I'm not taking this to the track. I'm not like, you know, doing crazy things with this thing. This is my daily driver, and I wanted a combination of everything, and that's what this car delivers. And that's what I kind of look for in all my cars, to be honest. And that's what I love so much about the 340i and the my old S4. They did everything really just kind of so well. In terms of complaints, I don't have too many. There is one or two that I have noticed. The first one being there is some sort of a creak or a rattle coming from behind the camera there in the rear seat. There's like one of the trim pieces on the roof, or the C-pillar is sort of vibrates and doesn't feel like it's lined up correctly, which isn't the best, but like I said, it doesn't happen enough for me to notice or really care about it that much. But I have the transmission mount coming. That should be a relatively easy install. I have some lowering springs and the RS grill that I'm still wanting to do with this car, and a couple other miscellaneous things. The ECU tune and the transmission tune will be probably one of the last things I do with this car. I'm still watching the aftermarket to see how it develops. I know there are tunes available for this car, but the ECU was just sort of cracked within the last year or two, so I want to see how people are holding up in terms of reliability. Alright guys, well that basically concludes the driving video of my new 2018 Audi S5 Prestige. Like I said, I have a ton more videos on this car coming, modifications in the mail, so please be sure to stay tuned for that. If you did enjoy, please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. I want to thank you guys again so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thank you.